Yeah, I forgot to mention that on there. Boom! Boom! Like you want to reach out and get slapped on the back of the head.
There's a misconception about Mr. Hardwick too.
Okay.
Most people say that jazz is one of those words that people throw around very lightly. They say, jazz, this is jazz. But the thing about Andy is the living, breathing example of what jazz is because he's so funky. Because when you listen to Joe Sample is because of where he plays, when he plays, when he doesn't play. Andy got the same thing. Andy's so funky, it's just, you smell it? That's real talk. Gail said all the time, he said, man, I've been playing with Andy all these years, and I ain't never heard him play the same damn chords. I never heard him play the same song the same way. He has that kind of control of the facilities that he just thinks it, and then it happens. And that's the level that we all want to attain, to have that kind of control. You know so much stuff that anything you think, you can then put it out there. I think Coltrane was at that level. And that's where Andy is. As musicians, beyond all this money, fame, and all of this superfluous stuff that we pursue, that's what you really spend your life as a musician trying to attain. And not very many people ever attain it.
Hardwick, because we know a lot of the work and the time that you've given over the years in the field of music, and you were doing and you still are doing, we thought that it would be fitting that we recognize you this evening. So I just want to say thank you so much and congratulations, and keep on doing the things that you do to make music.
This is the picture of the Blue Room. The owner, Tom Wentz, and his wife, and I don't know who that guy is right there. But this was a beautiful place. It was nationally known. Every band that was famous played at this place. This is a picture of the Red Tops, the group, that famous group here in Vicksburg. I wasn't on this picture. I was probably playing with either Little Richard or maybe James Brown or Otis Redding at the time this was taken. This band is an offshoot of a group called the Rebops, which I was a part of that group. I was about maybe 13 when I first played with the group. I was the youngest one. I was the baby of the group. The guy who influenced me to play saxophone was this guy here. He was something else. He taught me, he influenced me to play saxophone and taught me basic music lessons. Curtis Dunning. of course, they always tease me, say, he taught me how to play, and then a couple of years I was out playing him. He was taking lessons from me. Upstairs is a hole in the dome. I used to bring my saxophone out here, and I would practice in this building because I would want to hear what I played after I played it. For instance, if I played a G minor 7, beep, bum, bum, bum. See, you can hear that whole chord. So this is the Illinois Monument. I like to come out here and practice my saxophone. But I would come and practice so that I could hear the different progressions that were being played. And in this house over here was an old lady who couldn't understand what was going on, and apparently was interrupting her, so she would call the police, and the police would come out and tell me to cut out that racket, you know, and I would stay away a couple of days, and I'd come back and same thing would happen, and I'd go back and stay a little while and come back. So the third time they came and got me and took me to jail. They didn't put me in jail, they just took me down to the station house to shake me up, to let me know that what would happen the next time.
The only time I really got to hear him play and not practice was when the band would come over to the house, and sometimes they'd have a business meeting, and then they'd practice.
There was always music, and Daddy would practice at length, whether it was the saxophone or the piano, or he was making tracks using the upright bass. Did a lot of work at home. And you don't realize when you're around music to that extent, you don't realize how much of a staple it is in your life.
I remember Daddy being gone a lot because he would travel around the state. And so that meant that he'd come in early in the morning, sometimes 2 or 3, when they'd travel up Mississippi Delta or down on the coast. And they'd play all night, then drive back, and just amazing. He did all that and worked a full-time job, and so I've always known him to have 2 or 3 jobs, always. And one of the things that he always talked about was clearly music was his passion, and a man has to take care of his responsibilities and take care of his family.
We hold people to a high standard. It's because of the household in which we were raised,
Yes.
where our father was a perfectionist.
Yes.
If the name Andy Hardwick was going to be attached to it,
Yes.
you could expect it to be quality.
Yes.
And for him to be a perfectionist meant that he put time, hours.
Yes.
It really translated into days, into weeks, into months and years.
Correct. Correct.
For him to be the caliber of artist that he is. And we can say that not because he's our father, but because we know for a fact
Yes.
how seriously he takes his craft.
Oh, yes.
How many other people in life can say that they've done the things that he's done, and the world needs to know about it?